In our last video, we uncovered why kidney disease stays invisible for so long. It's not because nothing is happening, but because the kidneys are masters of quiet compensation. Today, we need to look at what exactly they are compensating for. Because kidney damage rarely comes from a single, dramatic event. It's born from daily, relentless pressure. A pressure that feels normal, goes unnoticed, and never fully turns off. Let's start with the most underestimated force: blood pressure. Blood pressure isn't just a heart issue, it's a kidney issue. Every time your blood pressure ticks up, it increases the force pushing blood through the millions of tiny filtering units in your kidneys. At first, this is actually helpful. Higher pressure means more filtration, and the body maintains its balance. But these delicate structures weren't designed for constant high-pressure force. Over time, that pressure stretches the filtration membranes. Tiny leaks begin to form. Proteins start to slip through where they shouldn't. Inflammation follows. In response, the kidney adapts. The remaining healthy filters, the nephrons, just work harder to pick up the slack. And guess what? Your blood tests still look perfectly normal. This silent stage can last for years. It's common for people to hear, "Your blood pressure is a little high," but it's not alarming. From a symptom perspective, that might be true. You don't feel it, but from a kidney perspective, that seemingly small increase in pressure is already shaping your future. Now, let's add salt to the equation. Salt isn't evil, but the amount of sodium we consume in modern diets dramatically changes the kidney's workload. A high sodium intake forces your kidneys to work overtime to excrete the excess and the fluid that follows it. This directly increases the filtration demand. Your blood volume goes up, and your blood pressure rises even further. The kidneys get trapped in a vicious loop. They compensate to maintain balance, but that very compensation requires a structural sacrifice. This is why kidney disease often progresses faster in environments of chronic high-sodium intake. Not because salt causes you any pain, but because it silently increases the load. Hydration plays a similar, quiet role. Chronic mild dehydration is far more common than people realize. Many of us drink just enough to avoid feeling thirsty, but not nearly enough to support optimal kidney filtration. When your fluid intake is low, your blood becomes more concentrated. Waste products build up to deal with this. The kidneys must concentrate urine far more aggressively. This puts a huge amount of stress on the tubular cells inside the kidney. Again, there's no pain, no alarm bells, just adaptation, day after day. Next, consider medications. Many commonly used drugs are filtered or processed by the kidneys. We're talking about everyday pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, certain blood pressure medications, and even some supplements. Used appropriately for short periods, they are helpful and necessary. But when used chronically, they increase the filtration and metabolic burden on the kidneys. The kidneys respond the only way they know how, by working harder. In healthy kidneys, this might be tolerated for years. But in kidneys that are already stressed from high blood pressure or other factors, it accelerates the decline. And still, there are no symptoms, because compensation continues. This is where the misunderstanding becomes truly dangerous. We assume that damage must feel dramatic. We expect a warning sign, a sharp pain, something obvious. But kidney disease doesn't announce itself with a trumpet blast. It accumulates quietly, like dust in an unused room. Even stress is a silent contributor. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones that alter blood flow. They constrict blood vessels, raise blood pressure, and increase the release of glucose into your bloodstream. All of these things increase your kidney's workload. Chronic stress means this system is chronically activated. Your kidneys never get a chance to fully enter recovery mode. It's just like the heart, And just like the liver, they need rest. Sleep should be the counterbalance to all this. Sleep is when your blood pressure is supposed to naturally drop. Kidney blood flow normalizes. Critical repair mechanisms activate. But poor sleep disrupts this entire cycle. Short or fragmented sleep can keep your blood pressure elevated overnight, interrupting hormonal regulation. This means the kidneys remain under strain even when you're at rest. This is particularly harmful because the kidneys rely so heavily on that nighttime recovery window. When you lose nighttime recovery, the damage from daytime compensation accumulates much faster. Your metabolism also plays a huge role. Insulin resistance, for example, changes kidney dynamics in several ways. More sodium is retained, which, as we know, increases blood pressure. Inflammation rises system-wide. The kidneys adapt to maintain filtration, but this adaptation makes them more vulnerable. This is why kidney disease so often accompanies metabolic conditions like diabetes. It's not because the kidneys are inherently weak, it's because they are chronically overworked. There's another overlooked factor: protein handling. As the kidneys' filters become strained and begin to leak, small amounts of protein escape into the urine. This leakage isn't just a marker of damage, it's an active driver of it. The protein itself is irritating to the delicate kidney tubules. It triggers more inflammation and scarring. This creates a destructive feedback loop. More damage leads to more leakage, and more leakage leads to more inflammation and damage. Yet, this early leakage often goes completely unnoticed. Routine tests might not even detect it, or it might be dismissed as just mild. But mild leakage, sustained over years, is not mild to your kidney tissue. This is the core reason why early kidney disease is so underestimated. On the surface, the body looks stable. The numbers on the lab report look acceptable. But the biological cost is accumulating behind the scenes. It is so important to emphasize something here. Kidney damage is not a moral failure. It is not caused by one single bad habit. It is the result of a prolonged mismatch between our biological design and our modern environment. The kidneys evolved to handle intermittent stress, not a constant, unrelenting load. They evolved to have periods of recovery between challenges, not to operate at full capacity 24/7. Modern life has largely removed those recovery windows. So the kidneys do what they must to survive. They adapt. And that adaptation is what hides the damage until it's often too late. This is why so many people with kidney disease are diagnosed late. It's not because they ignored the warning signs. It's because the warning signs were never obvious in the first place. In Part 3, we will address the most critical question. Why do we detect kidney disease so late? Why do our blood tests often change only after significant function has already been lost? And most importantly, how does understanding this process of compensation change how we approach prevention? Because kidney disease is not inevitable. But waiting for symptoms to appear almost guarantees a late detection. Understanding the concept of silent strain is the very first step toward true, meaningful prevention. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.